Welcome to today's installment of the Daily Shift, where I'm doing a series on how to be stress-free over the holidays. Hi, if you're new to me, my name is Raquel, and I'm your GPS for success. What I'm doing here is what I do with my clients, and it works exceptionally well because it's easy to do, and I call it the 1% solution. The 1% solution is you investing in yourself 1% of your day, which is 14 minutes and 40 seconds, give or take. A lot of my clients are actually doing this methodology with me, and they actually only do 0.5%, which is 7 to 8 minutes. I set things up for them, and it's different modalities. We're going to be using an EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. You might know it as tapping. And we're also going to be doing a journaling prompt. It really helps you to get your emotions out. And you need that because your soul is constantly trying to tell you something. And sometimes we try to ignore those things and then we get into trouble. So if you have a way to process that out and to start really paying attention to what your soul is trying to tell you, you will prosper. I know that's true? Because the best-selling book in the world says you will prosper and be in health as your soul, which is your mind, your will, and emotions prosper. So when you start to renew your mind every single day, and it doesn't take that much, then you'll be able to find success. This is a very simple, easy thing to do. And the reason so many people don't do it is because it's simple and it's easy because you have been fooled. We've all been fooled and groomed to believe things that are not true. That, just work harder. Well, if you're working harder and you're not getting the results, you're exhausted, you're depleted, it doesn't work in the long run. The best-selling book in the world also says that to labor to come into a rest. It takes labor to rest. You have to do some things on purpose. You might have to do things that are unusual and contradictory to what the world is telling you to do. There is this ebb and flow. Yes, we do things, but we do things out of an overflow. And when we are doing things out of a positive overflow, the results are always better. And you don't feel depleted. You don't feel drained. You don't feel like what you're doing is soul sucking, even if what you're doing is something that other people will be like, oh, I would never do that job. But for you, it's just like, it's no big deal. This is also helping you. How does this help you then with the holidays? Is that the more you are centered, the more you are really engaging with yourself a little bit every single day, you're going to be able to create organically healthier walls, right? What do walls do? They keep people out, and boundaries is what shows people the door. And it's easier for you to show people the door when you are coming from a positive sense of self and you are really owning who you are and how you're created to function, right? These are the rules of engagement. And when you articulate your boundaries, your rules of engagement, other people are free to say yes or no to them, just like you are free to say what you want. What you want is a healthy boundary for whatever it is. And today we're tackling a particular topic. So if you haven't watched the whole series, you don't need to. You can just watch this one. You can look at the link down below. So I have a special playlist around this, and you can do this, of course, at any time. So we're going to do, like I said, 3 things. We're going to have a mantra. The mantra is a positive affirmation, a declaration. And that's really important because words matter because they become matter. Your words do become flesh. The words that you continue to articulate will eventually take form in your reality. This is your God-given right. It is your God-given gift. And like all gifts, there's a shadow side. If you don't know that this is happening, you don't know how to leverage your gift. For many people, their issue is 2 inches below their nose. And this is why they're in trouble, because they keep on saying negative things. It doesn't mean that you go into toxic positivity, because I was in toxic positivity and it was, created a lot of havoc and chaos in my life. But you're able to, that's what I love about the EFTs, is that you're able to recognize what it is, confront it, because what was not confronted is not changed, which is why also the journaling helps. And while you're doing that, you're still saying, okay, I can see what's happening, but I'm going to choose something different. And the more I choose a different thing, the how shows up, because your subconscious will say, okay, this is the direction that we're going, that I'm going to then pull you into the answer that you are seeking. But you have to first That's what the words are for. Your words are setting that GPS for you. So if you don't like what has been manifesting in your life over and over and over again, not everything that manifests in your life you drew in. I know there's a misnomer. People like to say, well, everything in your life is a reflection of you. No, it's not. Serial killers are not a reflection of you. People who essay and do all these other things are not a reflection of you. So it's not true. And that everything that happens to you, you had a soul contract for, or you agreed to it in some kind of subconscious level. Not necessarily. Other people also have free will. That's their right. And sometimes their free will comes into your experience and then, wreak havoc. So this is a way to take your power back, saying, I don't care what's happening as of this moment and as of today. I'm going to take responsibility for my life, which is the ability to respond, right? So we're going to set the GPS with our words, because that's what words do. They are our servants, and we're going to employ them and tell them what to bring us. And the more we say it, even if you don't mean it in the moment, what happens is the more you say it, right? God said he saw, he felt. So you say it, you'll eventually start to see it in your imagination, like, wait, there's a possibility. You'll start to bring people into your experience that has that thing, have experienced maybe something that you have already experienced, and they're a step or two ahead of you. And that's going to ignite hope, which is then going to ignite your imagination. And then, right, I said he saw, he felt. And then what did he say? It was good. And you're going to start feeling good, and seeing the possibility. Because if you can see the possibility and start to feel like, hey, you know what, maybe this is possible for me, that's how you know you're on the right track. And I'm going to give you a journaling prompt, and then we're going to do a quick EFT together. So today's mantra that we're going to be doing, I'm calling them a mantra. If you don't like that word, just change the word, sis. Sometimes people don't receive things because they're like, I don't like that word. If it messes with your sensibilities, just change the word. Don't miss your blessing. Don't miss your breakthrough because you get stuck on a word. That's for somebody. Time and space. Today's mantra is, I am that. I am enjoying my daily me time. Now, this is, some people just like, oh, I enjoy my me time. And if you're already there, please stick around and release your beautiful juju, your beautiful energy, your beautiful, way you do things toward us, your love toward us, for those of us who sometimes struggle with that. I used to struggle with that. In the disc modality, I'm a salt of the earth and influencer, but this is steady. And so with this kind of personality, we're always the external. We're the ones who are always thinking about the tribe, what's good for them, what's good for everybody else, and then we end up not taking care of ourselves because we keep on saying yes to too many things until we learn the beautiful word no, period, and not having to justify why we said no. So for those of us who really, we really love people, we love to nurture them, we love to kumbaya, or maybe we are, a hyper go-getter. We're like in the opposite, right? We're a very dominant personality, and we have things to do, and we're going to do them, and everybody better get out of our ways. And we have such a big vision that we're saying also yes to a lot of things because we want to excel. There's nothing wrong with either one of those things, but everything has to have a balance, like I said, right? Our gifts can become our kryptonite, and sometimes in our effort to really go after our vision, we end up then creating things that are not healthy for us, that really deplete us. Whether that is a vision that we're being a hyper go-getter after because that's the way we're designed to function and to be successful, or we're designed, right, to really be that nurturing king or queen in the tribe. We have to have these things in balance. And part of that is really saying yes to the meantime and being able to enjoy it. So this is a journaling prompt. You can just look at the timestamp. It's 9 minutes in, 9 minutes and 20 seconds in. And you can do this later on, or you can pause this and do it right now. But what is the memory and that is coming up that is contradictory to this truth? When is it that when you try to take your me time, you didn't enjoy it, right? How should have that played out? And this is how you take your power back. Being able to look at your past and be like, what was the pattern there? What happened? What is the first memory that's coming up where I tried to take some me time and I really didn't enjoy it? And there's no wrong answer. It's for you to be able to recognize what is actually, what caused that, what is it triggering, so that then you can take your power back by then reframing it. How should have that gone? What is that going to do? That's going then to allow you to see how to then maybe execute things differently moving forward, because now you're thinking, how should have that gone? Maybe you need to forgive yourself in that part of the exercise. Who do you need to forgive? I know years ago when I was doing this weight loss thing, I was doing like a Biggest Loser at corporate when I was working, and I was leading that. I had to forcibly create the time. And I remember my family, they would come and interrupt all the time, and I was taking only 20 minutes. And I remember being really frustrated, like, leave me alone for these 20 minutes. I'm trying to exercise. And after I had, got really, really fit after the 6 weeks, they're like, oh, I knew you can do it. I'm like, liars. you kept that interrupting me. Where was all that, hey, we believe in you, when I was trying to get my 20 minutes in? It was really, really frustrating. And so from that experience, though, I learned how to set some things, really harsh boundaries up around my me time. And maybe your me time is having that 20-minute exercise routine. Maybe it's having that walk. Maybe it's having, reading your book, whatever that me time is. And if it didn't feel good, right, you didn't enjoy it, and it's a constant thing, you'll see a pattern, then how should that go? And that's going to give you an inclination of how to then create healthy boundaries for yourself, so that from your overflow, you can end up doing some amazing things. And then the forgiveness exercise, because, we're not 100%, and neither are other people. And sometimes people just don't know, because they don't have high emotional intelligence, on how to create that space for somebody else, or to communicate well. We're, like I said, we're not 100%, so we miss it too. So just forgive yourself, forgive them, because I truly believe that if people, for the most part, if people knew what they were doing or saying, and the actual fruit of their words or actions, and how that was going to be negative, they wouldn't have said it, they wouldn't have done it. But we don't. That was a little blip, because that was important in my world. Where there's a blip, there's an energy blip. So right now we're going to do tapping. So you just go ahead and repeat after me. Okay, we're doing something called the setup phrase. We're going to do something called a karate chop. And what this is doing in this particular part is that it helps with psychological reversal. So even if some of the words that I'm saying don't resonate with you, are not part of your story, as you're saying that, it's almost like it dislodges some memories for you. And whatever it is that it's a timing for you to deal with that, that's what's going to come up. This is why you don't have to try to do shadow work. You don't have to try to, pick your scabs. You don't have to try to figure out what the hell's wrong with you. Everybody's a work in progress. You just, do these very simple, gentle things. And in the gentleness, there is great change, right? Because you're able to then confront the things in a way that you're able to do it, release it, and then who you really are comes up in that next level. So that's the psychological reversal. Then we're going to tap right, like in the middle of your head, and then like where your eyebrows end, right in between, underneath your eyes, underneath your nose, this kind of crevice here, your collarbone, and then we'll do the wrist. Now this whole thing is taking a little bit longer to videotape, but when you actually do the different practices together, it's going to be under 14 minutes and 40 seconds, but I won't keep you much longer. All right, let's go. Just repeat after me. If you want to see why this works, look at the first video in this series. Today I take responsibility for my life, which just means I have the ability to respond. And I'm not always great at taking care of myself, but I take my power back and say, this is a new day, and things are changing right now. And so it is. Take a breath, hold, release. Begin to tap, 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 tap. Sometimes I'm not very good at taking care of myself. And it could be because I have a big vision, and there have been experiences that have made me believe that if I'm going to have anything or to do anything well, I have to do it myself. But that's not true. Maybe that's been part of my experience, which has caused me to feel a certain way, which has caused me to see things a certain way. But I can admit that my perceptions, even if they become my reality, are not always the truth. They're facts, but it's not the truth. And the truth is, I don't have to do everything myself. Just as I am highly capable, there are other people who are also highly capable. And it's a practice in releasing some control. In order for me to have my life back, in order for me to have some me time, because rest is important. Rest is doing. Rest takes work because the whole world wants my attention. This is an attention economy. And the whole world is fighting for my attention all the time. And maybe that's the reason why I'm not resting. I'm not enjoying my me time. They go into, ooh, squirrel. That looks interesting now. Let me go do that. And so I'm saying yes to too many things because I don't want to disappoint people. I love people. And maybe I don't want to say no to them. Or I don't know how to say no in a way that they will still like me. And I'm also interested maybe in a lot of things. And that can cause me then not to rest because I'm just doing too many things. And I've bought into that lie of FOMO, fear of missing out. What's for me is for me. And I need to learn to trust, to lean on grace, that if I end up missing it because I need to rest, then my resting is doing. And that something else will come in its place. It's okay. Or maybe it could be that at times my friends and family or work, they need me, they count on me. I'm the backbone of things. And I don't like to confront. So for peace sake, I would say yes to too many things. But then everybody else is happy and healthy, and I'm overburdened. And that's not good for me, which eventually will mean it's not good for them. So I'm choosing right now to take my power back and to learn to be okay with the no or later or to delegate. Because I need my me time in order for me to do more with those that I love and to do more of what I love. And sometimes I just get in my head. As a critical thinker, I might overanalyze and then go into analysis paralysis, which can give me anxiety. And then I can't rest because I feel I need to answer a solution or fix something. I don't always have to be the fixer. And maybe I take too long on some things because I'm excellent with spirit. And I want all things that I do to be done very well. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I'm trying to do everything to a crazy standard of perfection, which doesn't exist, then I can't rest. And when I am resting, I can't enjoy it because I'm exhausted. Stopping because I'm exhausted is not the same as resting and enjoying it. So I receive grace for that. I receive the grace to rest. I receive the grace to ebb and flow. I receive the grace of insight. I receive the grace of wisdom, of understanding, of getting counsel, and also some might, some push through energy when I need it, so that I can enjoy my me time, create it, and enter into a rest and enjoy myself, the quiet people, so that the best version of me is what people encounter, because that's what they deserve. They deserve the best version of me. I deserve to be the best version of me, and I can't do it if I don't rest. So I choose to rest and enjoy it. And so it is. Deep breath, hold, release. All right, loves, there's something that I will be doing soon, which is coming up. We're starting on January 8th. If you are a Jesus freak, sometimes people don't know how to fast correctly. They're fasting in the old covenant way instead of the new covenant way, and that's why they're like, why is the heaven shut up? Why isn't God listening to me? Why are things taking so long? If you want to learn how to get a yes to every prayer prayed, and a lot of people like to fast in the beginning of the year, then I invite you to join us. The link for that, to join the fast, it's a group on Telegram. It's free for you. It's complimentary. It's my gift to you. I'm going to be encouraging you and also giving you some insights on how to fast as a new covenant believer. If you're not a new covenant believer, then you're interested, just come and join us anyway. You are welcome to come and join us. So that way you get some principles on what works, the proper way to fast. In order for you, if you're looking specifically for breakthrough, there's a specific way to do it and a mentality to have going into it. And so I'm going to be teaching you about that. And then for 21 days, starting January 8th, that's when the actual fast begins. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and get the information below. And until next time, which will be very, very soon, may God's riches and best be yours. Bye now. Have a good rest of your day.